Thank you so much for following up with this course. And today we're going to enter the second part of sense of accomplishment. But before we go into the second session, I want to review a little bit what we did last session. Last session, we talked about self-control, which is essential for our sense of accomplishment. We talk about the willpower instinct, and the willpower has three different things. One is I will, or I won't, or I want. So the best part is if you can change things that you need to do to what you want to do, and that gives you a stronger motivation to persist longer. Also, there was a good question at the last session's Q&A. Some student asked how to help me with procrastination. So there are three different things that you may want to consider. One is make a list of what you need to do. And then the second is set a timeline, just to say, oh, I'm going to spend half an hour here, half an hour there, or 40 minutes on this thing, or 15 minutes of running. So you have a general idea how you structure the day. The best part the most efficient strategy for to go against the procrastination is to divide your task into smaller sections. We talked about this briefly at last session. The SMART goals has to be specific, has to be measurable, has to be time-based. Those three are the most important things. So if you have a big project that's due in 20 days, divide it into smaller sections, and you have some kind of idea. Like today, I finished the literature review, so I'm just going to do this part. So just like the 10-minute rule. So once you tell yourself, I'm just going to do 10 minutes, and once you start it, human is more likely to continue doing something. The most important thing is how to get it started. So find a way to start something. You could use some of the strategy that we talked about last session, such as trigger the dopamine. So you can give yourself your favorite drink if you can sit down, do this difficult math task. So that's going to make things a little easier how to start on something that you've been putting off so long. Find a way. If you want to know more about it, review last session, and I'm sure that one of those strategies we talked about will fit into your preference. And today we're going to go into the second lesson for sense of accomplishment. I changed my syllabus a little bit, and I actually want to talk about curiosity. The reason being that actually, working in the public school for over 20 years, I'm not too worried about students who temporarily have trouble with attention or for the time being struggles with algebra or has poor grades. I'm not too worried. What I'm really worried about is lack of curiosity or interest or passion in any kind of learning. Sometimes I'll ask a student, I always like to compliment others, and because I really admire their accomplishment. So sometimes I'll say, oh, Andrew, you're so good at baseball. And then he'll tell me, oh, my dad pushed me to do that. Oh, you're so good. You play piano so beautifully. Oh, my mom pushed me to do that. So, and then I ask, what do you like to do? And they'll say, I don't know. That's what concerns me the most, because curiosity, as we talked about before in the book, How Children Succeed, it's one of the 7 predictors of future success and happiness and satisfaction with life. I worry about lack of curiosity at a young age, like 8 or 9. You ask them, what are you interested in? What do you want to do? If you have the choice, if your parents don't tell you what to do, how do you want to spend your time on? And they don't know. That's what worries me, because it's the long-term motivator for our learning. Curiosity, just like Dr. Albert Einstein says, the passionate curiosity really drives the bigger discoveries in life. Curiosity has 2 different kinds. One is perceptual curiosity. You look at something some kind of stimulation in your environment, you're attracted by the shape or by the sound, by the color. That's perceptual curiosity. The most important part is epistemic curiosity, which means you want to find out more about it. It's the cognitive level. You want to know more knowledge behind how this works. This book we're going to talk about at our next session's topic is great. But I just want to talk about one point from this book. Great is the combination of passion and also perseverance. But before you have that passion, you have to be interested in something. And even this book included some really good points about curiosity and interest. So finding your true interest, find a passion for your life. There are two steps. First, you discover, you're interested in something, like the perceptual interest. You're attracted by something, but that's a very short experience. What takes much longer is develop your interest. You're not only attracted by it, but you also want to find out why, or you want to get good at it. For example, my older son was interested in math, numbers, since he was 2 years old. And then at age 5.5, we introduced him to piano. He looked at the piano board. He immediately was attracted to it. He said, "Mom, it's just math. It's a pattern. Look, 5 white ones and 5 black ones and 7 white ones. So it's pattern." To him, the piano board is a math pattern. So from that interest, that's a perceptual interest. He's attracted by the shape and the pattern, the color. And then it takes much longer time to develop that interest. It takes years of experience to get good at it. So that's, we're going to talk about how to maintain that, but I just want to share with you that takes time. So what's behind curiosity? First of all, I want to share with you, I really like this definition. There are different types of definition about curiosity in psychology. For example, the impulse to better your cognition. I like that too. An impulse to better your cognition. And here, I like the definition on the bottom, is a really pleasant motivational state involving the desire to recognize and seek out novel and challenging information and experience. The key is that it has to be pleasant, it has to be innate. It comes from intrinsic motivation. So you yourself want to discover or want to explore something, not somebody else force you to do. So it has to come from within you. So how? So what's behind it? There is a genetic base. So some people are genetically more curious about novel things in life. Some are less curious. So there's a genetic base. Just like some people have the music talent, some people don't. So, but there are other ways we can help to maintain our curiosity, because naturally we all have the desire to explore, to learn. And curiosity to bring, learning to bring, is as important as food to our body. So our brain naturally needs to learn to fulfill that curiosity. So we all naturally have it, strong or a little bit less strong. We all have the desire. Just like, do you remember when you were younger? You try to learn how to walk, and nobody asked you to learn how to walk, but you naturally want to walk. So because that when you are walking, you can explore different places and you pick up things to put in your mouth to try the taste and try to discover, try to learn about the world. We all have that curiosity. But by the time it's high school, the research, 2009, Challenge Success from Stanford did a survey for over 5,000 Bay Area high school students. They found out that 62% of our high schoolers reported that they study really hard, but only 10% said they enjoy the process of learning. That enjoyment comes from the curiosity. They feel learning is so enjoyable from their self-motivation to explore, to learn new knowledge. So I want a larger percent of our students to enjoy that learning process, to maintain that curiosity. I want to find out, right now we're all locked down because of that coronavirus. Maybe you're curious about how this works. Explore more about that. So to maintain the curiosity, stimulation is very important because curiosity comes when we interact, when our intention or motivation interact with our environment. We have to have a rich environment to present us with different stimulations, and one of them may trigger or many of them will trigger our interest. And then ask questions, just like the slide was shown earlier. Everybody sees the apple drops to the ground, but only Newton asked why. Why it didn't go up and went down? So have the habit of always asking why. Why did that work? Now it's the tax season. Maybe you can ask, where did the tax money go? Why everybody has to pay such a high state tax in California and also federal tax? So ask questions, not only about nature, but also about the world we live in. And there's, in this shelter-in-place period, there are essential professions that are not allowed to be sheltered at home. They have to keep on working. What are those professions? There are certain professions who cannot go on strike. Like it's illegal to go on strike. For example, doctors. Why? So you go research for our human world and also the natural world. Opportunity to explore. Once you have an interest from the stimulation, you ask questions and you need to have access to where to find the answers. So we're so lucky we're living in Silicon Valley, and we have access to unlimited amount of knowledge here. You pretty much can find experts in every different area in this community. Ask. If you have the question, somebody will have the answer. Also, we need the encouraging culture, a culture at home and in school that support you asking questions and develop your curiosity. There was some student asked the question, my parents just want me to study algebra and nothing else. That's not good. And you can share with your parent to watch this episode and know how important it is for you to have an environment rich of all kinds of stimulations so that you can explore your interest and you can develop your curiosity. Maybe your interest is not in algebra. Maybe it's in something else, but you need that environment. You need that encouraging culture to develop, to find your true passion, which is so important to your future success and long-lasting motivation in learning. So how to keep our curiosity? We talked a little bit. I just want to summarize. You need to find your interest, which means you need the environment where you can explore more. And plus, the question at hand or the thing that you're interested in will not be too difficult or too easy for you. It has to be in that zone of proximal development. We talked about that last session, zone of proximal development. Also, you need a chance to ask questions and a culture that encourages you to ask questions. They welcome your questions, and they encourage your questions. They want to help you to find answers. And plus, the application. Once you find out your questioning and your interest will lead to some kind of application in life that will strengthen your curiosity because you know the value of your knowledge. So today, I just want to ask you for the assignment, what's your interest? I want you to make a list of things you're interested to learn and then find ways to explore them and find answers. And I show you this picture. This is one of our talented neighbors printed out this in their 3D printer as a medical mask for our doctors to protect our doctors. Right now, our Bay Area hospitals and also hospitals everywhere in the US is short on medical supplies. Doctors need protections. So one family printed this out. If you are curious about how this 3D medical mask is printed, please search online for instructions. So once you have the perceptual interest of how this works, this looks interesting. And then you go on to the cognitive level of curiosity, find out how and how to make this work and why this works. I hope you all have something that you are curious about and you keep that curiosity throughout your life. because this world is an interesting place. They're full of novel things waiting to be discovered. And what our science discovered these days is only small percentage of what the world offers out there. Keep your curiosity, and I hope you always enjoy learning. Thank you so much for turning to our lesson 11. I look forward to sharing with you again at our next lesson.